Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pretty much the last weekend of the Streaming for Charity, and we are being joined with Eran. Eran, you are a current participant, if I remember correctly. You're currently in your apprenticeship. Am I not mistaken?
That's right.
Oh,
That's
that's
right.
good. That's good. So
Yeah.
to kind of get us started off, my good friend, kind of tell us what you were doing before you officially joined Praxis, and then what was your reasoning for joining Praxis?
Yeah. So, um, after I've always done sort of like an unconventional path. I
Mm-hmm.
never really did like the normal cookie cutter
Mm-hmm.
uh steps. I When I was 19, I went to the Israeli military
Oh wow.
for 3 years. Yeah, and then I got back and I had done like all kinds of odd jobs. I had a garage repair business.
Mm-hmm.
I tutored math for a very long time. I was an administrator for a retirement facility, but all of my business ventures kind of failed,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I joined Praxis. But yeah, I didn't really want to go to college,
Mm-hmm.
and I had taken like a bunch of the high level math classes that were available at community college,
Mm-hmm.
but like taking on that massive amount of debt, and I wasn't sure like do I want to teach math because like I love tutoring math,
Mm-hmm.
but is that the path I want to go? I wasn't sure,
Right.
and I had gone to a philosophy conference, the Objective Standard Convention,
Okay.
with my friend in Park City, Utah, and Isaac Morehouse was there, and he was actually giving a talk about Crash, but he also talked about Praxis,
Mm-hmm.
and my friend said, "Hey, you should do that," and so I did.
Nice. That's really cool.
Yeah,
You got to go see Isaac Morehouse in person. That's always kind of fun. I've
yeah,
gotten letters and stuff from him, but I've never got to meet him in person. I've also got to see him on the Praxis calls, on the weekly Praxis calls on occasion. So that's always been
yeah,
fun. Yeah.
definitely.
So I know you're in an apprenticeship as of right now. Who did you end up getting as your business partner?
Good United.
Okay.
Super fortunate the way things worked out.
Yeah.
Like I was like doing interviews for like several companies, and they were all like super interested in me, which is
Hmm.
very flattering,
Oh
of
yes, that's
course.
always a fun part.
Yeah, but I was interested in Miro, which is like an online collaborative whiteboard,
Okay.
and like there were like a pretty established company, but I was going to be doing like customer support
Mm.
basically. Um, and but I was like excited about them because like like ooh like they're software and all that.
Hmm.
Uh, and so like the interview process was like very arduous and long,
Right.
but I ended up getting accepted, and they were like, congratulations, we all loved you, like here's you're gonna mail you a MacBook Pro, you're gonna be able to
Oh
buy
my
stocks at a
goodness.
reduced price. And I was like, oh man, it's awesome. And then the next day they called and they said, like, this is so awkward, but one of the executives had decided to do some structural changes, and he wanted to halt hiring.
Oh wow.
I was like, wow, this is awkward. So then I went to my backup, which was Good United,
Hmm.
and I couldn't be happier
That's good.
that that's how things turned out. They're like a startup, but they're growing super fast. The
Hmm.
culture is amazing. There's a lot of room to grow, and there's a lot of opportunities for me to use my various skills in
Hmm.
different areas to provide value,
Yeah, it's always
which
kind of
is
the fun
like,
part. So
yeah.
what do you get to do specifically for Good United?
So my role kind of like evolved, and I
Right.
had gotten hired as an optimization manager, which is somebody
Okay.
who basically tries to optimize the experience in the chat flows with a chatbot kind of
Okay.
thing. But I knew some programming, and so what I've been doing was I sort of like I've been doing like my regular responsibilities, but on top of that, I've been like seeing different things like, oh, we could do this better, we could do that better, or like
Hmm.
stuff like that. And so I've been automating a lot of the things that we do at the company,
Okay.
and so like I've sort of drifted away from what my initial role was, and now that's kind of like what I do.
Oh, that's
People
kind of
come
cool.
to me like saying like, hey, I'm doing this project, can you can you do your black magic on it?
Can you automate this task really quick, please?
Yeah, so like, and my boss wrote a blog post on LinkedIn
Hmm.
talking about how I may be saving them $240,000 a year,
That's really good. That's really good.
which
If
is
if I
crazy.
haven't if I haven't heard of a better argument for a raise, that would probably be the best
That's
argument for a raise right there.
fingers crossed, man. I'm trying to like provide like as much value, just like absolutely crush it
Hmm.
in my first like six
Oh
months,
yeah.
so that when I go into the negotiation phase, I'll come in really strong.
Hmm.
And I just finished. Well, January 3rd will be the end of month 5.
Okay.
So February 3rd is when I begin to negotiate, and I
Nice.
already have done like a ton of stuff, and I plan on doing a lot more. So
That,
I'm really excited.
oh yeah, that's always good when you build up that little portfolio, and especially if you maintain it like on a blog or anything like that, to just make sure, hey, yeah, on this day or in this week I did this, and it made the company so much money, or it saved you guys
Yeah.
a ton of money. It's always a great thing to be able to point back and say, yeah, I got it all recorded right here. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I really gotta be better about the blog posts.
Yeah, the blog posts are
But
really good.
yeah.
I maintain mine. I do mine once a week. In fact, I just uploaded one today with Cameron's interview that I did with him last week.
Oh, cool.
So I just uploaded
Cameron
that today.
Thorsby.
Yep, the CEO of Praxis. That's right.
Very
Yeah,
cool, man. Very
yeah.
cool.
So with what does Good United do exactly? What do they do?
Good United aims to be the world leader in one-to-one conversational messaging between nonprofits and the people who start
Okay,
fundraisers for them.
okay.
So whoever that is, and on whatever platform,
Hmm.
we want to sort of we want to bridge the gap between the people who are just starting fundraisers and these nonprofits, because these people start campaigns for fundraisers and the nonprofits don't know anything about them. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you.
like me, like what I do every
Yeah.
year. Yep.
And the nonprofits don't know anything about them. They don't know their story. They
Hmm.
don't know, like, who they are and all that stuff, why they're doing it.
Right.
And so that's kind of like what we do. And so we help people raise more money in the campaigns that they start.
Hmm.
And so yeah, we all some of the biggest names in nonprofits are our clients. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Wounded
Okay.
Warrior Project, American Cancer Society, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, No Kid Hungry, so on. Like
Yeah,
really like big names.
I've
So
helped out a few of those with the fundraisers that I've done in the past. I've helped out a couple of those companies just right off the bat there. A couple of those nonprofits. Yeah.
you're a natural G unit.
There we go. That's the way we do it. Oh man. So since you're just now in the apprenticeship and you're almost done with it, sounds like it. You got through the boot camp already. So what was it? What was the boot camp like for you, my friend? What was that
Boot
like?
camp was a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it a lot of it is like, what you make out of it. And
Hmm.
like, I intended on having a good time with it. And so,
Hmm.
I kind of injected a lot of humor into it, uh,
Yeah, it's
you
usually
know,
the best way to go about it.
yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
And kind of like, made it a little bit more lively and did extracted as much as I could
Hmm.
out of it while I was doing it. And so, my cohort was like it was a pretty small one.
Hmm.
March 2020 was it was just me and like 3 other people, but we were like a tight crew. Every time we see each other, we're like super happy,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
So
usually how it is. Even with like those slightly bigger groups, my group was kind of like in the medium. We had around like what 30 people starting out, and
wow,
then I
it's a
ended up
big group.
kind of being in the what the getting the apprenticeship portion phase a little bit longer than I probably should have personally. So I got to
Okay.
be a lot more people, which was still fun. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was it when you get to meet people and kind of just interact with folks, it's awesome. It's really fun.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
going to college but without the debt.
Exactly.
Yeah, you get to socialize with people, which is great.
Yeah.
Did you have like a favorite project that you did, or was there like a certain portion that you like really spoke to you when you were doing the boot camp?
Well, it's kind of funny because like I was like planning on going towards sales. I wasn't really confident in my programming and scripting abilities.
Right.
And so I didn't know if that was like the angle that I should
Hmm.
focus on.
Right.
But it's what I wanted to do. And so I just kind of like threw that into the sales thing. Like I can utilize these skills for the sales role.
Hmm.
And so that's what I did for my project. Part of what I did for my project was like a sales project where I worked with. I got in contact with some company. It was like pretty small, just starting out,
Right.
but I wanted to like start emailing
Hmm.
leads and stuff like that,
Okay.
and generating a list of leads and stuff like that. So I had like used my scripting ability to create the leads form, and then I also did like this other side like boot camp with Hat Day, which was like a sales boot camp,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked with like another startup. And when
Mm-hmm.
I say worked with, it was very loose
Right.
when I say worked with. You know what I mean? It was
I,
kind of like
I I've I did something similar. I did like a very loose, like, I put together the marketing plan for tenants and toilets. That's what I did. I did a small project like that. My main project, I was pretty much doing exactly what we're doing right now, which was putting together a fundraiser and putting donations towards a charity. That's what I did for my project originally.
right on, so
So
you have practice.
that's how this all came to be.
I
Later
love it.
on, after a couple of years of doing this, it's like, oh yeah, let's do like a Praxis one now, since I'm finishing up with my apprenticeship. So this will be my going out project.
Man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it,
Yeah,
right?
I mean it worked. I mean every year it's been like $200 for charity, so that's been awesome. That's been
That's a
fantastic.
lot, man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did like the half day boot camp thing,
Hmm.
and like I worked with like another startup, and they wanted me to create like a list of like to sort of like compile a list of like airports. They
Mm.
work with airports, and the list was a really long one, and
Hmm.
it would have taken a long time to create, but because I know how to script, I was able to do it very quickly, and then we're like really impressed. And it
Nice.
was something that I was able to talk about during interviewing
Mm.
my interviews. So like that sort of like piqued the interests of Good United.
Yeah, there you go. So,
Yeah.
if, for everybody who's listening in, make sure that you add that to your skills. You're able to do scripting in like Google Docs or Google Sheets or just that kind of stuff. I
More so, I think that, like, if they're like people, even if you feel like, this skill is no, like,
Mhm.
I, I'm not confident in my ability to do this in like a professional environment.
Right.
Practice is like a testing bed for you to try it out. You got
Yeah.
nothing to lose.
Yeah. I mean,
I
yeah.
mean, you're
I,
like you're a scrappy newbie,
yeah.
and so just fucking go for it, see what happens.
Mhm.
If it works out, great. If it doesn't, then maybe switch it up, try something different.
Mhm.
But it's all a learning experience, and
Mhm.
it gives you like the opportunity to try stuff out.
Yeah. I mean, I started out. So I ended up getting my apprenticeship with Stupid Raisins, which is a startup who makes Final Cut Pro plugins for video editors. So that's what we do.
Right?
I specifically got the operations deputy role. So
Cool.
what I get to do, I'm the one who builds the websites and then helps with like the marketing a little bit, sending out the emails and everything. That's what I get to do. And
Wow.
it turned into like a fairly technical role. I started out with no technical skill whatsoever. I didn't know how to build a website for
But you learn,
I
right?
learned, yeah. I made my own blog through Praxis, so I had like the basics to build a website, and then from there, I just kind of watched the videos on how to do stuff, and I learned some like basic JavaScript and stuff like that, and some
There you go.
CS custom,
Yeah, like
and yeah.
I learned so much just kind of like, trying to figure out how to do the things that I want to do better
Hmm.
just in these 5 months. Like from where I was at the beginning to where I am now. And like that's why this is like so cool. Like if you are the kind of person where you kind of feel like you have like a lot to offer, you're like a hammer looking for a nail kind of thing,
Hmm. Yeah,
Praxis is like, a wonderful
yeah, you just gotta
platform.
have that ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even think that I was that ambitious, to be honest. Like I've been working nonstop, and this is like weird to me, but
yeah,
I genuinely love it. Like normally, like I know that I'm sort of ousting myself as like not being like the a typical Praxian kind of thing, but
right.
I was concerned that I wouldn't be have the forward tilt, and I wouldn't have that drive to just kind of like crush it nonstop, and it
Hmm.
just kind of like turned out that way because it just feels really good to like start off somewhere, be able to provide some value.
Hmm.
It's encouraging, and so even if you don't feel like you have like a lot of value to give, I feel like just being put in a position where you can provide some value will like light a fire under your ass and
Oh yeah.
send you to
I
the stratosphere.
I mean, I had kind of I had a thing when I was starting out with the program. I had a bit of the fear of failure quite a bit.
Hmm.
So I was always concerned that I was going to let people down because personally my parents were supportive, but they weren't like 100% like, yeah, this is awesome, you're doing great. It was kind of like, well, we'll see how this goes, we'll try it out, we'll support you, but we have our own reserves on it. So for me, it
Skeptical.
was like, I didn't want to like waste people's time, like failing or something like that. And then after kind of going through the program and just seeing, yeah, you can fail all you want, so long as you take a little bit of that and improve and you learn from it, then it's
Mhm.
fine. Because at the
Yeah,
end of the day, you're just starting out. Everyone's got
exactly.
to screw up in order to get anywhere.
Exactly right. Like
Yeah,
that's the place to fail and all that, and like it's okay.
yeah. You don't invent the light bulb on the first try, my friend.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh man. Let's see here. So for your interviews, oh man. Actually, wait. I got a better question.
Go.
So from your experience, my good friend, uh, what would you say would be the best advice that you could give somebody to who is looking to join Praxis, or how could they put themselves out there to be ambitious, or is there like a project or anything that you would recommend people try in order to stand out from
Well,
others?
what I would recommend is first of all, just you know dive into the thing that you think like if you are experiencing some kind of resistance
Hmm.
towards it does that you'll probably be familiar with that feeling, that resistance from the thing that you know you should do, like if you homework you have to do or whatever, if you're like in school or
Hmm.
some responsibility that you need to take care of. And you feel some kind of like resistance from that,
Hmm.
like that's an indicator for you to go towards it. That's the sign.
Okay.
And so I definitely think that if you have any reservations about Praxis, I mean, it's like changed my life in like like so many ways. Like I'm so much happier now.
Hmm.
I have so much more self-confidence and stability and independence and all that. Like it feels great. But if once you do decide to do Praxis, what I recommend is like there's lots of talk about being really professional
Hmm.
and all that stuff, but I think that you should take that with a grain of salt. I think that first and foremost, like have as much fun as you can with it. If it means that you have to sort of force a little bit of fun into the
Hmm.
environment, then do that,
Yeah.
because people like that. And I don't think that you should subdue your personality for the sake of professionalism or anything like that. I
Right.
think that lots of employers and lots of people, interviewers, want to work with somebody that is enjoyable to be around. So
Somebody
you
who's
know
genuine. Yeah.
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 So if you even if it means like you have to like say like a bad word, like sometimes cussing, sometimes, and this is a really taboo, and I bet some of the practice coaches might wince a little bit when I say this,
It's
but
not entirely.
sometimes when you cuss though, you actually build rapport. It like makes people laugh. It's like, oh, this person is like a normal person.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, and I think that that's like the wonderful part about startups is that they're less plasticky and
Right.
corporate,
Right.
you know.
I used to work for J.C. Penney's as their cleanup crew or as their storage crew, and they were so plastic about everything. They were just like, "All right,
So,
you got to get this done. Move faster, move faster, move faster. You got to be here. Move faster."
yeah,
It's like,
like
come on, guys.
that corporate, like really sterile speech,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the plasticky speech. I
Yeah.
have an aversion to that.
I do too. That's why I was like, after doing that, it's like, I don't want to work with a big company or anything like that. If I'm gonna work for somebody, I want to work with small companies, preferably
Yeah.
where I get to see the owner and have a decent dialogue with people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
some kind of relationship
Yeah.
where you can just talk like a normal person around them,
Hmm.
you know, have the work environment not be one that feels like you're working for the Stasi or something.
Right. Walking on eggshells there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. So, my good friend, so Aaron, what is the future? What do you have in mind for your future after the apprenticeship? What do you have your sights set on?
I'm in love with Good United. I don't plan on leaving. I plan on after the apprenticeship negotiating a contract
Okay.
and going forward with that. Like, I have good relationships with everybody that I work with.
Hmm.
It's like I look forward to working. Like, we talk like even after work and stuff, not because we have to, but because it's just like we're kind of like have that kind of rapport. And the work is really fulfilling. Like we're generating tons of money for these nonprofits.
Hmm.
It's just like because I've sort of crafted like a sort of niche for myself. um I don't really get told what to do.
Right.
I just kind of like they're just like let just keep doing what you're doing. So like
He's got
it's
it. Take care of
for me.
it.
Yeah, like it's for me, it's like the ideal situation. And my friends were like when I told them like the things that I'm doing, they're like, wow, you can get paid like a lot of money for this. Like you can get hired at some like big companies for this. And that's probably true. And I do plan on asking for a substantial raise,
Right.
but I don't mind taking a little bit of a hit in pay if they
Hmm.
cannot be as competitive
Hmm.
as some other offers, uh, because the environment does it's not something that's should be taken for granted.
Right. Yeah, even at the end of the day, even if it's not pay, there's always other options in terms of benefits in other different ways. Retirement is
Yeah,
always a good one. Yeah.
yeah, but and now Good United is growing, so
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm confident. I'm confident that you know it'll be all right.
Oh yeah. I bet. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think for myself, as of right now, I'm just trying to save up as much money as I can so I can move out of my parents' house finally.
Yeah,
Ugh. I get to work remotely, which is great, and this is like the perfect timing right before COVID hit. I
yeah.
got that job. I almost ended up moving to New York City to work with Hat Day.
God.
I was
Can you
very
imagine?
close
Can you imagine moving to, let alone to New York City, but
to New York.
moving out of like your parents' house, like right into the COVID situation?
Yeah, no.
That'd be like the worst thing.
That
Like
that was terrible. That would have
yeah,
been
like you're
terrible.
not having to pay rent and insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
Like save up, man.
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm
nobody's
doing.
like, oh, you live with your parents. Like nowadays,
But we
it's
don't
like
really
yeah,
have a choice.
yeah. It's like lots of people move back in with their parents. Yeah,
Yeah, because you know what,
yeah,
housing is so expensive. It's almost impossible to move out, especially at our ages. Yeah.
yeah. And California, Jesus,
Oh yeah, I live up in Washington, so.
it's also freaking pricey there.
Oh yeah, especially in near the cities. It's a little bit cheaper out further out in like the small towns, but everybody's coming up from the
Hmm.
southern states and buying up all the properties.
Yeah.
So it's driving the prices up quite significantly. So that's not easy.
No.
Yeah, I
I'm
think.
excited. I'm gonna be moving to South Carolina eventually.
Ooh,
Yeah. Because
nice.
that's where Good United is.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're working remotely then from home? Is that what I understand?
Yeah. I mean, everybody is. That's why I
True.
haven't moved yet. So, like, as soon as COVID sort of dies down and, you know, the company gets a new office,
Hmm.
which they're planning on doing, and
That's
like
good.
some, like, there's no real point in leaving just yet.
Right, right. Not until things kind of settle down and a little bit more stable
Yeah.
to do so. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna try and save up for a tiny house on wheels to start off with because then I can move around whenever I want to. So
Right on.
my family has been very generous in agreeing to allow me to live on the property rent free with a tiny house if I so choose, which is amazing.
Nice.
So hopefully next year I'll get a tiny house built.
I have fingers crossed, man.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Deal.
Oh man. All right. So do you have any like current projects that you're currently working on the side? Anything like that?
A lot. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
a lot of side projects.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I really have like a one track mind, and so I tend to just kind of like do one thing
Hmm.
and like zero in on that.
Right.
But I have lots of things that I'm working on. But the main thing right now, uh I just finished one like literally
Mhm.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working on Christmas. But I was really excited about it, so like it wasn't bad.
That's
And it
not
worked
bad.
really well, so I was super happy. But it's like there are reports that you can download from Facebook groups,
Okay.
and it has a bunch of these statistics in there, these numbers. And one of the optimization managers wanted to be able to like, visualize those numbers in relation to a bunch of the other groups, and there are hundreds of them.
Okay.
So I wrote a script that goes to each one of those pages,
Mhm.
automatically downloads the file, and then uses the Airtable API to just input all the information into it. Like it parses the information, so
Right.
it sorts
Right.
it out, and then it puts it into Airtable,
Hmm.
into this, using a particular view so that it's like easy to see
Okay.
uh,
That's
all the
cool.
variations. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was super happy that I did that. So
Nice. I've been
yeah.
learning something a little bit similar. Not as far down as you are, my good friend. You're much further along that path of coding than I am.
Honestly, like I feel like I'm still like a noob.
Yeah.
Like I'm still like learning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's how we start off. I've learned how to do with Google spreadsheets how to put numbers on one page and then have it calculate on the rest of the page, and then it calculates to a different spreadsheet page. So I was able to do like the sales report for the past year. I've been able to track, all right, this is how much we've been making every month, or this is what product is doing the best so far, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's nothing to scoff at. Like
It's pretty good though.
that's the kind of stuff that like programming is made out of. Like you're using functions,
Yeah.
and you're like working with inputs and outputs,
Mhm.
and that's basically what programming is. So like, if there like when there are people who ask like, where do I start off and stuff, sometimes I tell them like, start working with like spreadsheets and stuff.
Mhm.
And like you can then graduate to like SQL if you want to work with databases.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing the real deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's like the my personal favorite way to like learn something, especially when it comes to coding, is been all right. Throw a task at me. Throw at me something that I need to overcome. Then I'll
Mhm.
be able to learn and figure out stuff. So how do I change the colors of our buttons, or how do I redirect the URLs to the correct landing page? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, like you need to be given a problem,
Mm-hmm.
and then be set loose to solve it.
Right. You can't just
Yeah,
say, "All right, go make a landing page," and then it's just like, "Well, I can make a landing page about everything."
yeah.
And it's like,
You want some direction,
yeah,
exactly.
there needs to be a little bit of direction whenever it comes to
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
the same way. Yeah, that's why I feel like sometimes like before I felt like a hammer looking for a nail kind of thing.
Hmm.
And now like I love it when people come to me like, "Can you do this?" And I'm like, "I can."
Oh man, that's great. Oh.
Yeah,
I got that same thing too because I work with our website builder ClickFunnels, so I built the websites and everything, and I know how all the systems work because I'm the one who built everything, and so everybody comes to me and says, "Hey, I got a customer, we got this little problem going on. How do we fix it?" And it's kind of fun being. I get to be the operations guy. I get to be the marketing dude. I get to be a little bit of sales, and then also I get to work with customer service, which is
there
awesome.
you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have a good role.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love my job. I really do. It's great.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then next month I'm gonna use ClickFunnels to write and sell my own book. So
Ooh,
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
writing a book.
Yes. So next month, starting next month, I'm going to be writing. So I'm writing short stories to put into a book based on D&D stories that I've had with my friends.
Fun.
And so I'm going to put those short stories together into a book. And then starting next month, because I need to write all of these short stories, I'm going to put a little challenge out for myself. So I'm going to have on my website, like, hey, $5 and you can view all of the short stories that I've written. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have like a little portion, a separate blog essentially on my website where people could pay $5 and they can go view all of these different short stories that I've written. And then once I have enough of
That's
those
awesome.
together, I can go sell that on the ClickFunnels, which would be awesome.
All right.
Yeah,
That sounds like a really cool deal, man.
yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah, I
That's
know
the
that.
dream.
I have, yeah, I have some friends that that well, I haven't talked to him in a while, but like a group of friends that they
Mhm.
used to play D&D a lot,
Oh yeah.
and there were like these YouTube channels that they loved to watch
Mhm.
of just people talking about their campaigns. It was
Oh
like a
yeah.
guy that like kind of like narrated the stories of his campaigns and stuff,
Mhm.
and they that's kind of like what like they just enjoyed watching that just on their free time.
Yeah.
So like there's like a real audience
Mhm.
for Dungeons and Dragons campaigns.
Oh yeah.
'Cause it takes a lot of imagination to, like, construct these, like, you have to think of all the characters and their interaction, and you have to, like, the characters have to drive the plot, that you can't just kinda, like, have a plot and make the characters do stuff, they all have, like, their
Right.
own personalities, right?
Yeah.
So it's
I got I'm the dungeon master for my own D&D group as of right now. And so we're kind of paused because it's Christmas time and everything and I'm doing all this. But anyway, one of the characters that I have set up is a merchant who is kind of like this old dude, and he's the potion maker. He makes potions and he sells them in this like little hut that he's got out inside of the town. And I call him the bone guy because he loves bones. And that's his whole stick. Oh,
that's funny.
yeah. That might be a fun little thing to expand upon in the future, but yeah.
Yeah,
Just so many wacky characters that you could do.
yeah.
Well, well, my friend, I don't want to suck up too much of your very important time. So, Aaron, thank you
Awesome.
for joining me, my good friend, on the podcast. Is it alright if I link your website after this, your personal website?
I
Or is there
actually don't
something?
have one.
Oh, you don't? Oh,
No, I have to work.
hey, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to like and subscribe for more. Also, let me know down in the comments what you enjoyed most from the video. If there's a game you'd like to see me try out in the future, let me know. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.